y'all, I'm Hope here at Crafty Hope and welcome. I am getting ready to pull my week 44 prompts for the mixed media prompt card project that I do each week. Like I said, this is the week 44. I have done 43 of these altered playing cards. The whole idea of this was I knew that there were 52 cards in a playing card deck and 52 weeks in a year, so I made a long list of prompts, basically working up to 156 prompts. So that's 3 prompts a week. And so basically each week on Monday, I'm pulling 3 prompts from that list and altering a playing card. Both sides of it. One side's more decorative, the other side is my functional with my prompts on it. And this is so that at the end of my 52 weeks, maybe I'll go a little bit further, we'll see. But I can use these cards later to inspire me by pulling several of them and looking at the prompts and creating from them when I'm feeling uninspired. For right now, the creating of these cards is what's keeping me inspired. In addition to creating these cards on Monday, on Saturday of each week, I do an additional project that uses these cards, that uses the same prompts, so that I'm not just creating cards. I'm trying to expand on those prompts and do something a little extra. This past week I just did a junk journal page. The week before I did a mini wall hanging. I've done bookmarks, lots of tags, little assemblage projects, jewelry, all kinds of things. So this challenge is open to you though. If you want to play along, you can start now with my week 44. Just play along as they inspire you. However, I've got a full playlist at the end of this that includes not only my cards and projects, but other people who've played along with me. So if you want to play along, go for it. Just get inspired. If you share it, I do ask that you use the hashtag CraftyHopePrompts and also tag me so I can see that. It's getting harder to see it if I'm not getting tagged. So there's that. If you have any questions, if I ran through that too fast, if it's confusing, please just ask away. Alright guys, I'm going to go ahead and pull these prompts so that we can get to altering my card. So I'm going to pull 3 prompts and think about real quick different ways we can use that prompt. This first prompt is orange. That's tough because we just did quinacridone nickel azo gold for this card 43, but orange is orange. I don't actually have a whole lot of orange paint. I'll have to see what I've got. Okay. Hopefully I don't pull another color. So, let me go ahead and expand on that. So that can be orange paint, orange pencils, and orange, like the fruit. You can use scrapbook paper that's orange, just orange in some way. So even if you have like an orange fabric or, I don't know, orange sticker, just orange. Just orange. There are many ways to incorporate orange into something. It doesn't have to be just paint. Alright, prompt number 2 is going to be scraps. That is easy enough. I have, y'all, so many boxes and envelopes and containers and buckets of scraps. And by that, I mean scrap papers for the most part. But you could use fabric scraps or go through your recycling scraps or however you want to interpret scraps. I will probably just use, and I do it all the time, I get my little scrap bucket of paper out and that's how I start my collage card. So I probably will do that. I've got another bucket across the room. I might pull that one out for a change. We'll see. We'll see how things go. So orange and scraps. All right, let's get prompt number 3. I've got a whole stack here, so I'm gonna like, all right. And, ooh, one of my favorites, Yearbook. Yay. All right, guys, this is just, yeah. I have a small, large, I don't know, it's bigger than some people's, smaller than others. I love yearbooks, old yearbooks. I like the photos in them, some of the graphics, all of that. I used to work on yearbooks when I was in high school and college, and I have a thing for them. So I will probably just use some kind of yearbook image on my card. Both sides may be difficult. We'll see how that works. If you don't have any yearbook images, I'm trying to think how we can remedy that. I might go ahead and cut a couple down and make a like a PDF. Yes, some kind of PDF or link or something for you to print that out so that you have some. I'm not going to use a single one. I don't know how yearbooks are copyrighted, so I might combine several different things so that it's not a single page I'm giving you, but several different examples. So if you don't have a yearbook, you might could use some of those images that I share. So I'm going to try to share that. If it's not there, I apologize, but I will definitely try to come up with something for you. Okay, so orange scraps in yearbook. That seems easy enough. I am going to pull out my card and we'll get to it. All right, so first thing I want to mention is I did scan some yearbook photos that I will share. I'll put a link. It's in my Google Drive, so you'll be able to open that. You won't be able to edit it, but you'll print it. It's not a great scan, but it's 2 pages of different yearbook photos that I just happened to find already pulled out of yearbook. So I hope that you like those. Okay, so for orange, what did I pull out? I haven't pulled out a whole lot. I was flipping through one box. I found these orange butterflies. So I thought, okay, maybe. And then while looking for the yearbook photos, I found this little sticker sheet with stickers on it, and there's some orange dots. Those could be fun. I'm actually already thinking of some way to use that, but I might not use those at all. We'll see. So scraps, I do have, first off, I found some scraps from a yearbook, which are like the names and stuff. But I also have this box here full of different scraps that I can pull in, and then yearbook. So like I said, I have this. I may go pull in another yearbook photo. This one was in my box of like focals, so I might use one of these dudes. We'll see. So I'm going to get started on my card and I will voice over the rest of this. I started this, as I start most of my cards, with some collage. I like to cover up that plastic lamination on these playing cards with a little bit of collage. It gives me a nice base, a nice surface to start on, because nothing really sticks great to that plastic lamination. And collage for me is how I start a lot of my art journaling in general. So if you don't like that idea, if you don't want to cover it with paper, you can try gesso or a sanding it of some kind to give it some tooth. But this is what I like, and I already had those yearbook scraps there, so I thought, hey, that's yearbook and scraps. I'm gonna 2 birds, 1 stone right here. I will bring both of those in other ways. Kind of, I'm gonna basically, for scraps, I'll just add more collage over these. I'm using an acrylic matte medium to stick these down, and yeah. So I've got that one. Actually, I think that one there is a scrap I cut off of the pages I scanned for y'all. So, hey. So now I'm going to bring in some of my other scraps, also using that acrylic matte medium and a paintbrush, and just stick these down. It adds a lot of great texture, and both visually and physically, like you can touch that and feel the different torn edges and things like that. So, and that'll help when I add what I'm going to add, especially on this one, because it's getting quite a bit of different layers on here. So you can see some of that is from many of my other projects. So there's music from last week, and then there's also some map from, is that the week before? I don't remember. So those are some of my other scraps from my other Crafty Hope prompts. So once I get that side down, I think I'm gonna dry that real quick. I'm not even cutting out the drying because I did it just super quick, because I didn't want to flip over to the other side until I got some of that stickiness off. And I'm finding as I go that like little edges and pieces didn't stick down, so I'm being super over careful with this. So I'm going to flip over to this other side simply because it was kind of boring with just the yearbook on there, and I'll add a couple little snippets of some scraps. I didn't use a whole lot to cover these up. I mean, I'm hoping with my project I'll do something larger that will use more scraps, but it's really all 3 of these things are kind of just I don't know. They're really simple things that I often use anyway. Well, orange isn't. I don't use a lot of orange. It's like I said, I don't even know that I have that much orange paint. I do like a coral color that would be close to orange, and I've got one like primary orange. But yeah, orange isn't a color that's my go-to. So this was a little bit of a struggle for me. And you'll see in the end, or maybe you saw in the other part, that I don't use any other colors with this because I was like, okay, orange, I've got to use orange. How do I use orange? Yeah. So once I've got those scraps down, I'm going to push them back a little bit, make them a little more cohesive by putting down some gesso and braying over it. I'm not trying not to overdo it, so I did it on one side, and whatever's left on my brayer, I'm just putting on that other side. And now I will try it once again. Once it's good and dry, I'm starting to kind of come up with some ideas, look at things. I pulled out this, I'm trying to show you, this is from a yearbook, this image of these 4 girls. And it's one I almost scanned for y'all. That's why it's cut down already, but it wouldn't fit in with some of the other ones. And it's not obviously yearbook when you look at it, but it's fine. It's a cute little image. And I liked that this girl here, who's for some reason wearing a cape. I don't know. It was just fun. She's the only one that I could see all of in this photo, so that's why I'm cutting her out. So I'm going to fussy cut her real quick. And I decided I'm going to add those butterfly wings, those orange butterfly wings to her. But first I had to find a set of wings that were fully exposed. There was so much overlapping on this strip of, this is some kind of scrapbooking border. I don't know. I don't know where it came from, how I got it. I don't know. And the tips of the wings have like this little bit of glitter on them. So anyway, so this is one of the ways I'm going to bring orange into this side. I'm making sure that they fit on her nicely because, of course, I'm going to turn her into a fairy because that's what I do when wings are involved. So I wanted orange to come into her somehow, so I decided her dress underneath her cape would be orange, and I grabbed a Tombow marker. This is like I don't know what you would call it. I don't know if they're water-based or just water reactive, or I don't know. It's a marker. So I put that orange marker on her and decided to go ahead and add a little bit of water to it to kind of blend it and push it back just a touch. And you'll see in my photos here at the end, for some reason, I could not get the orange to look orange in those photos. It all comes out like a pinky coral, but I promise you, these are very orange. It's all very orange. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and, do I go ahead and stick her together? No, I decided I wanted to alter the card just a little bit more before I stick her together on there. I was futzing with these wings for quite a bit because the way she's turned, I felt like one of the wings should be showing more than the others. It doesn't really matter in the end. So to alter the card, I've got some walnut ink crystals and a little dropper bottle with some water, and that's what I put on the card. So one big plop and some water, and I'm going to move this around just so it catches some of the edges of those scraps, because that's the thing, is I didn't want to cover up all of those scraps and all of the yearbook that I've got back there, but I want it to still be kind of visible but pushed back. So I'm glad I didn't go heavy with the gesso. I didn't go heavy with the walnut ink. And now I've got a Uniball Signo gold gel pen. I decided since there's gold on the tips of her wings, I needed a touch more gold on the card. And this was kind of fun. Gave some movement to it beyond the texture in the background. So I did that, and then I want to add a little black to it to grunge it up. So that is a graphite stick like the Lyra, but it's a cheap version, and I'm just splattering that on the card. And now I will dry everything. So once it's dry, it's time to go ahead and assemble her. And because everything there is kind of lightweight, I'll just use my Oohoo to stick everybody together. I was trying to decide which way was up and which way was down. I didn't want the words on there from the yearbook to be quite so visible. I didn't want them. I want it to be there so you can see that's what it is, but I didn't want you to see the names and see the clubs and all of that stuff. So, and it didn't matter at this point it was fine. Whatever. I overthought it just a little bit. So, and I really liked that other strip with those other two ladies because I don't know, they looked a little more refined than this girl did. But yeah, it's okay. So I will stick her down with I'm going to stick her kind of up a little bit like she's flying, as she is a fairy, and it doesn't matter that she doesn't have any grounding, but I will end up grounding her with a little bit of a phrase. So I go looking in my bin of sentiment stickers and things like that, and first I'm going to ink the edges, and that's, what is that? Yeah, Black Soot Distress ink. So, and that gave it even more like grungy vintage age, and it allows, because everything else is neutral, it's allowing that orange to really pop and be like, hey, look, I'm orange. And I told you I was struggling. I kept thinking blue would be the contrasting or the complementary color to that. It could be nice to add some blue, but I was like, no, we can do that in whatever the project is. For now, we're just going to stick with orange. So I did get a sentiment sticker and inked around the edges of it because it is white. And it says, I believe in you, because, clap if you believe in fairies, y'all. Do y'all know that reference from Peter Pan? Anyway, since that sentiment was white and so stark white, I felt like I needed to bring a little more white into the card. So I used a Posca paint pen to just kind of put some little dots on there. Once I get this dry, I think they kind of soaked into that distress ink and the walnut stain, so you don't really see them. I might go back later and add them, but it's not a big deal. All right, so I'm flipping over to the other side, and I grabbed my Distress Oxide in Spiced Marmalade, which is a good solid orange color. And I've got that little yearbook photo guy that I had picked out previously. He's a little washed out on the white, but since this is going to be my functional side, it doesn't really matter. I'm only using him because I felt like I needed a yearbook photo on this side, something beyond just the yearbook scrap in the background. So that was my reasoning there. I'm going to ink the edges of this with that Spiced Marmalade, and then grab a wet paint brush and activate it. Let it spread out and get more orangey, so it's more visible and not just disappearing into the edges, I suppose. And while I've got that out, I decided to go ahead and use that Spiced Marmalade also, there's a little bit on the lid there, to paint his bow tie. Later on I'll pick up, because I somehow got orange everywhere. It'll be all over his poor little picture. When I flip it over there and try to do it, somehow I get orange all over that. You may not see it here, but you'll see it in the close-up photos. Yeah, I don't think I had enough glue on there. While I was off camera, after I dried that, I did cut down all my prompt words so that it would be, we can just move straight on to that. So I'm going to put them below him and use those little orange sticker dots. I am counting them because I was like, oh, if I have 6 of those, I can put them on either side of my prompt words, because I had intended to use it like bullet points and just put it on the left side of each of the prompts. But I was like, you know what? I can frame them a little bit with these stickers. So that's what I'm going to do. And then I will glue down my words. And I'm coming towards the end of this, y'all. I decided that this needs a little pop of something. I'm going to grab a pen here in a second and write the number 44 for week 44 in the upper right corner. But then I'll use that pen, and I think it's just a Sharpie Rollerball 0.5 millimeter pen to just go around my words, my dots, the dude. And then with that, I think I'll be done with this prompt card. So our prompts, orange, scraps, and yearbook, have me mostly excited. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of orange, but whatever. I'll work with it. Like I can add blue with orange. It'll be fine. Everything will be okay. I hope you find some inspiration from either this or the prompts that you draw. I'll have links to both some yearbook photos and the list of prompts below. Let me know if you have any questions, and if you like this, please give me a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet. All right, guys, thank you for spending this time with me, and go get creative. I'll see you later. Bye.